Good evening. The sun has set and the Chicago nights come alive. It's time for mystery, intrigue, and just a bit of strangeness as Hexaco Motor Oils presents the Hexaco Mystery Radio Hour, sponsored by Hexaco. I'm Silver Sterling, and join me as we bring you tales from these dark streets and darker alleys in Gunn for Hire.
Just like a dog sniffing around the butcher's shop for some scraps, Grace Gunn, Tommy Bam Bam Prue, and Irving Holt know damn well they're getting closer to finding out what happened to Leo Helzberg, and possibly even the woman he was seeing on the side. It all comes down to knowing where to go, and fortunately for our trio, they know. They just need to get there to see what scraps might have been left behind. And just like you might suspect, the place they're headed, just like Leo's marriage, used to shine like one of the diamond necklaces in his shop. But now, there's a tarnish to that silver, and that diamond may have lost its luster.
The coin spun on the grease-stained counter of Thompson's cafeteria. Tails. The randomness of it was a fitting lockstep with the hot winter in Chicago. My tasteless fried fillet of perch, a burnt cup of coffee. It was all strange. Just a bit off. Heads. But what wasn't these days? I tugged at my tie and wished the rusted metal blades of the ceiling fan would do more than just produce a slow squeak. Heads. Boss's stoolie was already 15 minutes late. My temper was about to match the day's forecast. But I had a part to play, so there was only one thing I could do.
Top you off there, hon?
Ask the flame-top Jenny for a warm-me-up and bask in the smell of more burnt beans.
There you go.
Tails. I hadn't met this Martin before, so I didn't know his type, bribe, or threaten. Sure, both are two sides of the same coin in the long term, but this was a short-term gig, and one tends to desire a path of least resistance. You see, you can't bribe a greedy man. They want too much. They keep holding back. But someone with hungry eyes, you can bribe. When they want something so bad it becomes a need, and you're willing to help them down that road, they'll sell anything and everything to you. Like a gambler knowing they can make it big, they just need one more buy-in. Or a drunk with the shakes, needing something to calm the nerves. Even your common schmo, just needing a little extra cheddar to make ends meet. Threats. You can't make threats to anyone with nothing to lose, but a comfortable person. Sure, pain's one of the greatest motivators in life, but it's more than that. Pain makes people uncomfortable, makes them trust less, overthink more. So the threat of a broken limb causes a crack to form in their comfortable life, and that crack grows. How? Let's do the math. 1. Cost of medical bills. 2. Laid up for a couple of weeks, no pay. 3. Employer replaces you because you're missing work and there are shills that they can hire in your stead easy. Total, all that comfort gets shattered like a rock through a window and lost. All because of the threat of a broken limb. Clock on the wall clicked 20 past, and as the bell on the cafeteria gave a jingle, I turned slowly and gave a nod towards Martin. As he sits down at the counter, I spin the coin again. Time to go to work.
So I have a question before we go too much further. With my grandmother, I think we decided she was my grandmother, would there be anything that she might have left me? Because would I have seen a ghoul before? I was wondering that while we were fighting them. Would I know what they were, or do I need to research to find out what they were?
You might have to do a little research, only because descriptions of things can often vary a little bit. You have an idea of what this might be, but yeah, it takes you maybe spend the better part of a morning looking to try and get some sort of confirmation as to what this might be.
Okay. Do you need me to roll for anything, or?
No.
Darn, that would have been a good roll.
Do you want to? Well, do you want to roll for it? How about that?
I don't know. If you don't, sure, I'll roll for it, because it's like one of my better stats.
Oh.
Ooh, crit fail.
Okay, never mind. That would only be a 4 or a 3 with my +2. So we can just pretend that I didn't do that. Okay, next time, don't give me the option to roll on research if I don't have to.
You're doing some research through this, looking through either some old diaries or old notes or old journal entries, things that were passed down. You come to a description, and you're starting to read, and you're getting a feel that, yep, this might be the right one. And you're going through there and using your finger, and you're kind of going each line as you're reading through. You get to a certain word which you won't remember, but your finger brushes over this word, and you kind of get this shiver that goes up your spine, and it just starts like down right at the tip of your tailbone, and just races right up your back until it gets to the back of your head, and there's this tingling that comes over the back of your head, and it crawls across over into your vision, and these little spots start popping in your eyes. You feel yourself kind of going back in your chair, and then you hear something in your ear, and you hear this word, and it cuts right through from left to right, almost like it's just slicing through your brain, and it just simply says, marked. You open your eyes, you turn and look, and the tingling is gone, the spots are gone, and you look up over on your wall as you're just getting your bearings straight, and you realize that it is now about an hour later than when you started. And you have no idea that if you were out or if you had just gotten so engrossed or what, you're not sure. But at any rate, it's now an hour later, and it's almost time for you to meet the boys at the office.
Tried to shake it off and kind of shove the book that I was reading away from me, and just kind of, how you do when you get a shiver up your back, just kind of, and get my coat and sigh, because it's the only coat that I have that now has teeth marks and a little bit of blood on it, and head out. The kind of feeling like, if movement's the only way to really put that behind me.
Tommy will, after he wakes up, try to scrub out a little bit of the blood and gore that got on his shirt and his sink. It's really not coming out the best, but then he'll just, hit it with the iron best he can to dry it, and then put it on just a little wet as he's heading off to meet Grayson and Irving.
The ride from the office to the hotel seems to almost take forever, as the cabbie has to wind his way through a number of streets. He apologizes to you for the route, only because there's a lot of there's some construction going on. There's been some problems in the tunnels. He talks about manhole covers popping off because of steam backups or something or other. He seems like he half knows what he's talking about, but he also seems to also like to hear himself talk as he makes conversation. But he does say to you as you're driving through the streets, the Blackstone, that's an older hotel. What are you going there for? I mean, you guys are locals, right? I mean, that's a kind of a rough area.
I'm going to assume we have worked out our alibi this time. I will spend a penny if you need us to.
I don't think you. I think that you. I don't think you need to spend a penny to do that. Yeah, I would imagine that you'd have some sort of story.
So
why didn't we actually come up with a story?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We
what
all
do we want to go with?
Here.
You want me to shut the mug up?
It's all right, Tommy. It's all right.
We have some business we need to take care of.
Yeah, business.
As in, none of yours.
Yeah, none of yours.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, it's all right. He's just doing his job.
He's a cab driver. That doesn't mean he has to ask questions.
It actually does. If he wants a good tip.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to ask some questions.
Shut up, Irving.
No. See, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. I'm doing my job. I'm driving you to where you want to go. And then I'm doing my other job. I'm being all friendly like and making conversation now. Because, I want to earn a little bit of a tip. It's tough times out there, and I could use a tip just like anybody else. Now, if you want me to stop talking and not ask you any more questions, I can do that. I can stop talking at any point in time throughout this drive. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I can drive in silence or I can drive in conversation. It's fine either way. Whatever you want, ma'am, I can do what you want. But, because I'm here to serve you and to bring you to where you need to go. Which
Tommy lifts his fists up so the guy can see him in the rearview mirror and cracks the knuckles on both hands and just gives him a knowing smile.
And he goes, and I also know how to take a hint. And that, good sir, is a very good hint. So I will take that hint and I will cease conversation post haste. I will not say anything more. I will drive you to where you need to go. I will drop you off. I would have one.
And Tommy just looks out the window, ignoring him.
I have one final question. Do you need me to wait, or would you like me to stay in the area and pick you back up? Because I can do either, or I can just go. It's really kind of up to you. Again, like I said, I'm here to serve.
I think we'll be okay. You can go. We'll make sure you're paid well for your
That's coming out of your pocket, Irving.
Personability.
As is fair.
However, I get a feeling my friends here may not be too happy if you say another word. So, if you want that tip, I would just drive.
He holds up a finger, and you can see, because you're looking in the rearview mirror, he holds up a finger, and his mouth opens as if he's about to say something, and then, like, the light bulb dawns on him, what's been going on, and then also what you just said, and then he just closes his mouth.
And Irving is fishing in his pocket. No, I gotta pay this guy.
And within like about a minute and a half, the car pulls up to the or through the right up to the entrance, the Blackstone Hotel. Thank you so much. I think a fair rate would be $1, or a fair fare. A fair fare?
A fair fare?
Fair fare.
Well, then I will give him $1.50 for his silence.
He takes the money. Hey, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate everything that you. Yes. Not another word.
Have a good day.
You too. Good luck with your business. And you are at the Blackstone Hotel. There is a doorman actually here. he wears that very stereotypical doorman coat. So it's a longer coat. It's thicker because it is a bit colder today. He has the hat on and everything, and you can see definitely this part of town is a little bit rougher, and it's also just a bit more run down. There are some very obvious homeless people. You look over off to the side, just down the street slightly, in an open lot. There are, looks like almost like a little miniature Hooverville kind of set up there. You could see the various tarps and things, and the smell of burning garbage being used for heat. And as kids kind of play in the empty street that's there. Going back to the coat of the doorman, it looks just slightly worn out. There's probably a button or two missing. The brass on the buttons is stained and a bit faded, as is the red in his coat as well. But he does his best to smile as you walk up the stairs.
When we approach, Tommy stops and lets Grace and Irving go in first when the doorman opens the door. And Tommy will slide him a buck, give him a wink, and just under his breath to the doorman for only him to hear, "We weren't here."
He looks at you, he nods, and he says, "Where do you need to go?" as he palms the dollar.
"Looking for a couple of friends. One fancy gentleman and lady from a club." And I'll describe Trixie because she's probably the more noticeable one.
He nods. "Hey, pal, that's the penthouse? Or we call it the penthouse. Top floor. Third door on the left." But begins to rub his beard a bit. He says, "I'm not entirely clear yet on whether or not..."
Shook out another dollar.
I haven't seen him in a couple of days, or I haven't seen him in several days, to be quite honest with you.
Like I said, we weren't here. Thanks.
He just nods as you walk past, and Irving and Grace follow.
I'm gonna say Irving brought his crowbar this time
Absolutely.
because we're not gonna have a repeat of what happened last time.
So, in this establishment that's a little past its prime, are we going to be taking the stairs to the top, or are we going to trust the elevator?
I am not trusting the elevator. I would never trust a death trap like that.
How many floors? Is this a representation of 4 floors to the hotel?
It will say it's an even 4 floors, and make it easy.
Well, you guys can. Okay. I may be a little slow, but I'll make it up the stairs.
Stairs it is.
Stairs are fine. Well, we don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves.
Once we hit the stairwell, I will inform Irving and Grace of the information that the doorman provided me.
Impressive, Tommy.
I never thought about that. You know, there's some places I might need to get into in the future. Do you think you could come with me and slip a word here and there?
You know, he's a doorman. And I give Irving a wink. He opens doors.
Oh, okay.
Now, boys.
As you make your way through the lobby area, just the worn downness of the hotel becomes even more visible. Bits of wallpaper up in the upper areas on the walls peeling back slightly. Pieces of furniture with torn upholstery, trying, to be maybe positioned in such a way to hide it. A gentleman seated at a couch by a table who clearly has been probably there for a couple of days. You might even catch the occasional whiff of alcohol coming his way. What is it, a clerk behind the counter? Is that what or maitre d'?
Concierge.
Concierge. The concierge is there. His hair's messy. He looks definitely unshaven in several days. He just gives a weak smile in your direction as you're finding your way to the staircase. And as you open the door into the stairs to go up, there is a wino is pressed up against the corner at the bottom, just off of the stairs. Appears to be sleeping, but you can see he's got his paper bag with his obvious wine bottle in his lap as he's seated there.
Try to step over him.
You make your way up the stairs, and you get to the top floor. The door opens for you, easy enough, and this looked like it too at one point in time. Clearly must have been a nice, grander sort of hallway, but now there's stains on the carpeting. Some of the carpeting has been ripped. Again, we see one wall section where the wallpaper has been completely torn down. But it is also extremely quiet up here as well. You're not hearing any sounds or anything, as opposed to the other floors. As you were going by, you might have heard muted yelling through various walls, and then, of course, through the staircase wall. And and your fatigue's gone, by the way, Grace, if I didn't already tell you. And Tommy, you got your stealth roll there, so you're being nice and quiet.
Irving has a cane. He can't be that quiet.
What was the room number again, Tommy?
The penthouse.
And you're seeing, as you go down, there's little placards, because there's a number of rooms on this level, and each one has a name that is of the fancy variety. So like one says the Continental, one says the European, another one says the Tropicana, and then you finally reach one where it says the penthouse.
The penthouse.
And as you stand outside the door, everybody make me a scent-based notice check. I mean, because it does not necessarily smell good in here. It just smells, the hallway and everything's got a musty, sort of semi-basement-y smell to it. Grace and Irving. So you get to the front, you get to the door of the penthouse. You're standing in front of there and you're weighing whether or not you're going to need your crowbar, or if should we just try the door? And you pick up a very sharp and just bad smell coming from behind the door.
Having been at crime scenes as much as I've been, do I recognize the smell? I can make a roll.
You do. You don't even need to make a roll, but if you want, go ahead and make one, and let's see if you can maybe discern exactly what this might be.
Common knowledge, smarts.
Yeah, give me a common knowledge, and then because of your crime scene description, I'll give you a +2. And Grace, you probably could do the same, being the detective that you are. Irving, that's a 5 for you, is that the...
That is correct.
Okay. And Grace got a 4. Both of you, actually, this works out really nice. So you both get to the door.
As Irving and Grace are sniffing the air, Tommy doesn't smell anything. He just kind of takes a smell of himself and then looks back at them like, what? As you're doing that, Irving and Grace, you get there in front of the door, and you both, your bodies kind of give that little bit of a reflex action, and you turn and look at each other like, I'm smelling death behind that door. Yeah, and then we look back and you see Tommy, like, he's like smelling his pits.
It's okay, Tommy. It just smells like death.
Get the door open.
Irving, you might want to draw your gun.
Get the door open.
I should open the door.
All right.
As I take the gun.
Hold on. Can we test it first?
You can test it.
Go ahead, Bam Bam. You test it.
Bam Bam will push on the door to see if it swings open.
It does not.
He will now try to pull on the door after turning the knob.
You turn the knob, and it definitely does appear to be locked.
Now I will. Do the little pull the crowbar out of the coat and hand it to Bam Bam.
So strength check.
Yeah, strength check, and with the crowbar, I'm going to give you a +1 on this.
Bam Bam doesn't like being stopped by doors, so I'm going to re-roll that. There we go.
That'll do it. All right, so you get the crowbar wedged in there, and you brace yourself in the frame, and you just pop it. It snaps open. The lock and the bolt definitely break, but the door clearly is open to you now.
Crowbar in hand, Tommy now pushes on the door and lets it swing open as his bulk fills the frame.
How much are we hit by the smell?
Without any rolls necessary, and Bam Bam, of course, it hits you first. This wave of the stench of death just hits you hard. It is completely dark in here, and you look across. The only light that is visible in here is the small lines where the curtains meet the windows, but the drapes have been drawn all light, with the exception of those just slight outlines, is being blocked from this room.
Oh, wasn't me.
Irving, the toolbox, also pulls out his flashlight.
Tommy will head into the room directly towards the closest window so that he can open the shades and shine a little light in here as well.
And with gun drawn, I follow.
I'll go next with the flashlight, yeah.
All right, so are you like lighting a path for Bam Bam then? Or for Tommy, Irving?
Yeah, well, I'll just kind of let him get to the window before I do a full sweep of the room. See if there's anything that catches my eye.
Tommy, you cross, you're following the yellow or the white dot of Irving's flashlight, making sure that there's a clear enough path. As your eyes are adjusting, as you're getting there, one thing that you're noticing, you're in sort of this large foyer type room, central room, and then off of that is where the bedrooms and things are. You definitely can tell in this darkness that all the furniture has been pushed to the sides. And you reach the curtains and you find the seam where it is, and you grab one on each side and just yank them, pulling them across. And there's that distinct as the curtains part and the light floods in, and all of you see
And now, clever communiques of contrivance shall commence to continue your comportment of contentment.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important message from the future. Friends, did you know that many years from now, quality audio dramas such as this will no longer be transmitted via terrestrial airwaves? Rather, they'll be delivered in pods, and among these so-called podcasts, none has more pulse-pounding action, more gut-busting hilarity, or more tasteful eroticism than Bohemian Galaxy. You'll thrill to the daring deeds of Captain Sully and his faithful crew. You'll rage at the malevolent miscreants of Cytosun Corporation and their mad science run amok. And you'll swoon as young Barnaby Cox seeks love amongst the stars. So run, don't walk, to subscribe to Bohemian Galaxy wherever fine podcasts are found. And we'll see you around the galaxy!
Well, you didn't think you'd get to see it all, did you? Don't worry. You come back next time, and it'll all be right here waiting for you. Alright, that's enough for now, so shake a leg till next time. But just so we're clear, the part of Grace Gunn was played by Jill Rich, Irving Holt is played by Brad Smith, Tommy Bam Bam Prue is played by Brent Rich, and the boss in charge of this clip joint is Chris Hussey. Special thanks to Nick for lending his golden chords to this episode. I'm E.I. Wick, and remember, taking a wooden nickel is less trouble than a Ghost Rock dime.
Hexaco Motor Oils thanks you once again for listening to the Hexaco Mystery Radio Hour, sponsored by Hexaco. This game references the Savage Worlds game system, available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle, and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings and unique characters, locations, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Thanks also to Fear the Boot. Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Bring a little light to our dark shadows by leaving a 5-star review on the podcatcher of your choice. When doing so, please search for Fear the Boot Actual Play. If you listen on YouTube, please like and comment. Of course, telling a friend is the best way to help the show. Not only is it the right thing to do, it's the Hexaco way. Hexaco reminds you to help keep your car running like magic and always use great Hexaco products. I'm Silver Sterling, and until next time, remember to keep one eye on the shadows.